I can start.
So to start with, I think first thing which you need to understand is these basic things, looping part basically. I would say else, if,
Mm-hmm.
while, do, while, conditional things. So we start with if loop. Okay.
Mm.
See, for learning these things, best way is to use this W3 schools because it gives you good idea on the.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So first thing is if in real time scenarios also, if we remember, you might have designed a lot of flows and all those things, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
flows we put like something. If this is there, then do this. Else do this. Something like that, right?
Correct. Right, right.
Then if this particular condition is met, then do this, and otherwise don't do this. So in script also, when you are doing these things like writing the scripts, you also got those kind of scenarios where you say like if I talk about that requirement, if logged in user uh, is
Mm.
basically ITIL user, then
Mm.
hide this field from the form. You might get these kind of requirement, right?
Okay.
Okay. So how you will then means it is not saying like always hide the, let's say, caller field from the incident form. It's just saying
Mm.
when logged in user is service desk user, then hide.
Mm.
Logged in user is having ITL load, then hide. So you need a conditional.
Right.
You cannot hide always. So that's why you need a some point where you can check whether this user is ITIL or not. That part come later, but you need a conditional thing. So that conditional things is given by if. So
Mm.
this if will say like if whatever condition you want to satisfy here. In your case, maybe when you will come to service now, then it will be a kind of, there is a syntax called gs dot as role. So basically when this particular thing which is written inside this small brackets will return you
Mm.
the part. Getting my point? So either true or false. This particular if works based on true false. So if you are
Mm-hmm.
saying xyg something, anything you take xy, if xyg is equal to true,
Mm-hmm.
if this particular condition will satisfy, then it will go inside this loop.
Correct.
So whatever written in this curly braces will be
Mm-hmm.
executed if this thing will met.
Right.
Here, let's say you define where xyg is equal to false.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we define variable basically.
Okay.
Variable, how to define a variable is you need to put where and then name of variable. You can give any meaningful name. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
the name of variable and then whatever value you want to assign to that variable.
Okay.
Okay, so here I have assigned this variable value called
False.
false. False, this is a kind of Boolean value. So true, false is
Mm-hmm.
a Boolean type variable. So I have assigned,
Okay.
but below in my code I am writing if xyg is equal to true, then execute this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if we talk about this scenario, will this particular thing execute?
No.
No, because this is false. So
Yeah.
the code will not run. Whatever written inside this loop will not run.
Mm.
So if we set it as true, now once the code will come to this line, then it will execute whatever written inside this. So this is how if.
Okay.
Then sometimes we got the requirement kind of switching thing. If you remember, we say
Mm-hmm.
like if xyg is equal to, now let's remove this f, we are putting it like xy, if xyg is equal to a, if xyg is equal to b c d, like there could be multiple conditions, right? In
Mm-hmm.
this scenario, like if I am saying if logged in user is member of service desk group, then do particular thing. If logged in user is member of network team, then do this thing. If a login user is member of maybe Windows team, then do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you are getting multiple conditions. Now any one of will get true, either
Right.
this or this or this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you get a scenario like that where any one need to be fulfilled or met.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, we use else if ladder. So if we say if xyz is equal to a,
Okay.
then do this particular thing. I put a,
Mm-hmm.
then do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Next,
Else if. Mm.
else if xyz is equal to, let's say I am saying
B.
b.
Equal to or only one time?
Yeah, it will be equal to. Good point. That's why I only written. So
Okay.
is inside wherever you are checking the condition, that will be
Mm.
comparison operator, and comparison of
Right.
double equal to. And this
Mm-hmm.
single equal to is basically you are assigning the value to the variable.
Mm.
Wherever you need to assign a value to a variable, then you will use single equal to. Where you need to do the comparison, that will be the double.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, then I will say do something inside this loop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there could be third condition like else if something. So basically, what we
Yeah.
are trying to do, we are doing a else if ladder,
Mm-hmm.
but we can do if also, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I not write else if, I will just say if xyz is equal to a, then I am saying if xyz is equal to b, then I can say xyz is equal to c. In that
Mm-hmm.
work will be done, because whatever value will be assigned to xyz will
Mm.
be basically the function will go inside that loop only.
Okay. Okay. So no need of else if.
Yeah, but that is not the effective way. In this case, code
Mm.
will run each and every else if loop. If you have
Mm-hmm.
written 10 else if loop, sorry, if loop xyz is equal to a, b, c, d, e, f. So it will, even if it become true here, like
Mm-hmm.
can be a, then this first loop itself will be true. The code written inside this will run, but still the code will check all the if loop written after that.
Okay. So performance issues.
Performance, unnecessary
Oh.
code will run.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
Mm-hmm.
analyze the situation. Now let's say here only my one condition is going to be true. So you can
Mm-hmm.
use else if ladder. So else if ladder, what it does is, once a condition is true, it will not run the further.
Okay. Okay.
So what it is saying, if this is not there, then else if this will be there.
Mm.
If this is not there, go to next.
Mm.
So wherever it finds true, it will go inside the loop. Further, it will not run.
Mm.
So
Okay.
this is where you can use else if uh, ladder.
Okay.
Next, how you can create a variable and assign the values. Then how you can do the comparison. So these are two basic things like else if and else if, which you will be using like most of the time. Apart from that, you have for loop as well.
Mm-hmm.
For loop is basically here you are going once in this condition, right?
Mm-hmm.
For loop will where you need to go multiple times inside the loop and run same code multiple times until you reach to a particular condition, or basically you need to run that code multiple times based on certain conditions. So in those cases, you need to use for, basically to reiterate the code again and again.
Okay.
So basically, let's say here we have this array, like I think you don't know array, right?
No.
Yeah, so array is kind of again a type of variable.
Mm-hmm.
So I showed you like you can variable could be a string type where you can assign a single string as we were seeing previously x, y, x is equal to.
Mm-hmm.
Then variable could be a boolean that could be like either you can assign a value true or a false that we seen.
Right.
Now there is another variable called this array
Okay.
where you can assign the multiple value to the variable in terms of array. So this is how you define the array. So here I have
Okay.
value where we have a variable called cars, and in that we have
Mm-hmm.
values of cars. Like BMW is one of the value, Volvo is one, another, Saab is another, Ford, Fiat, Audi. So basically,
Okay.
assigning multiple values to the same variable. This is a array type variable.
Okay.
How we define the array? This is here. You can see like large bracket
Mm-hmm.
and inside double quote one value, then after comma another value like that.
Okay.
What I want to do, I just want to here, if we take this example, I want to print all the values.
Mm-hmm.
So for these kind of things where you have these multiple values, now I need to reiterate this. So what I am saying
Okay.
here, I am define for this, I need to use this for loop.
Mm-hmm.
So here, I am this dot length is one of another variable in JavaScript, which gives you the length of array.
Okay.
So now my array was car, and here if you see, I am seeing car dot length.
Length. Okay.
Now how we define the for loop? First, we define a variable, initial variable from where your for loop start. So I am saying start the for loop from 0. This variable I defined. So I'm saying,
So this is must, right? A variable I.
yeah, you can, yeah, this is must. You can use I, J, K, any
Okay.
but
Okay.
this is
Okay.
kind of the starting point. So here you are saying start the loop from I is equal to 0. And then here, second thing I am defining till where I need to run. So here I am saying when I is equal to 0, start it. And the second thing I am telling it, now run until the I is less than car dot length. And car dot length will be some length, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will give me kind of 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because here it will start from 0, and here we have 6 values. So 0 to 5 will be 6 values. So car dot length will give me the 6. So I am saying start
So
with
is this BMW is 1?
BMW will be 0.
Okay. And Volvo is 1.
Yeah. So
Okay.
basically in array positioning start from 0. So first value
Okay. Okay.
array 0 value, then second value will be array 1, third value array 2.
Array 2. Okay. Okay.
So array positioning starts from 0.
Okay.
Okay, so for I am saying I is equal to 0, then I am saying print again and again whatever written inside this loop till
Mm-hmm.
6.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And every time I am what I am doing, once this loop is run, then I am doing I plus plus. So I plus plus is something like you are adding 1 every time.
Mm-hmm.
I plus plus is equal to something like this. I is equal to what it is doing. I is equal to I and
Plus 1.
yeah, plus 1.
I think this is C++, right? Coding.
You can say C plus plus. We all study at that time.
Yeah.
So these are
Yeah.
basic things basically which
Yeah.
comes in
Uh-huh.
each and every language.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, these are basic things like defining a variable, all those things. So this I plus plus is similar to this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
When it was 0, when the condition was true for 0, it checks, okay, now is I is less than 6, because sorry 5 car dot length will give me the length of this particular variable.
Mm-hmm.
This will be 6 because 6 values are there. So is it less than 6? It says no. Go inside, and same time it will increasing the value of I. When it
Mm-hmm.
will run for 0, uh, when it will go inside the loop, and it will increase the value of I, and what it will do? It will print the text. Like it is saying print the value which is at car I. So what it is saying,
Okay.
this particular things is saying
BMW will be printed, right? For first.
when it will run for 0, then
Hmm.
it is saying print the car I. What is I? 0. I will be 0.
Array 0. Yeah.
Then for the second time it will again run. In the second
Hmm.
time, what it car will be? Car 1. Whatever value is present at one location, just print that. Then when it will go for third time, that will be I is equal to 2. Then it will say car and the value at 2 position. So this is how it will run for 6 times, and this is what you will get as a result.
Output. Okay. So is it like text plus equal to is a syntax, right? Text plus equal to.
Yeah, this is kind of again this I plus plus. So these are basic things basically for if and for you will be mostly using. So to
Okay.
start, I just wanted to give you a gist. So
Okay.
now how you can define the variable where and name of variable, then variable, your variable could be a string type variable, okay, and it could be a integer type, it could be a array type, it could be a boolean type, okay.
Okay.
So in ServiceNow, also you define the variable like this only, where I or whatever name if you want to take like uh, uh, maybe you can say logged in user. Okay.
But generally the best practice is like where anything, right? ABC or something, right? Or
No,
how?
best practice is not ABC. Best practice is
Oh,
give a brief name what exactly that variable is holding.
okay.
Okay, so if I am saying like if I want to check if user is logged in, what full logged in user is having, so it will be good if I give the name like a logged in user role.
Okay.
Okay, and then here I am saying like gs dot get, this is again we will go through it, gs dot get
Okay.
gs dot sorry as role, something like this. So this function would define the uh, role of the basically role of the users and all. Maybe we will get the go to the exactly function of what we will
Okay.
talk about. So basically what I am trying to tell you here, we will define the variable name which is kind of making sense, which is meaningful, so that later on after 5 months 6 months someone else going through that code to fix some issue, adding
Okay.
by reading the code he should able to understand like what exactly this is. If you will define it
Okay.
and here you are assigning the role of user, let's say idea, then you might get
He
confused.
won't.
What is it?
Right.
So that is something you have, what you should define always a meaningful name to the variable
As a best practice. Yeah.
as a
Okay.
best practice. So maybe what I would suggest in your time, you can go through again with these loops. So maybe you can go
Which
to
all loops should I go through?
you can, if for the time being you go through if, for, while, and then the variable types.
Variable types under JavaScripts only, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you see these few first things, if you will go like JS home, if we will use it.
Home till, just tell me. Yeah, I can try. Starting from home.
No, I will tell you which exactly things you need.
So this all will be used in this business
No,
rules and
that's
scripts.
I'm checking you. All will not be used.
Okay.
So if you come to this statement part, this is how basically a variable is defined. First thing. Okay. Then one more thing, when you are writing any line in the code, basically at the end you need to put the semicolon.
Semicolon, yeah, right.
This is one more thing which you need to remember. So
So
basically,
here, when you said logged in user, right? So in this case, I will say where logged in user, comma, another variable, and if there are three variables I need to define, right?
yeah.
And
So
then I will.
it's good
Hmm,
like you go to each single line. So like if you're defining like where x is equal to some
yeah,
value,
yeah, yeah.
let's
Instead of just doing it in one line, right? Where A, B, C,
so
like that.
now that this means like now this line is completed. So after every line you need to put semicolon. In ServiceNow
Correct, correct.
semicolon it will give you kind of warning if you will not put. So this is one thing, like if you need to define another variable where y then equal to let's say 2. So at the end of each line you need to put the semicolon. This is
Hmm.
again basic scripting practice, not specific to ServiceNow anything. Okay, this is
Okay.
how you define like where the name of variable, then value using equal to operator.
Hmm.
Then this is something like how you do the multiplication. So add
Okay.
plus sign, multiply you can use star sign.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this is again basic operators, plus minus. But see, let's say if you are doing 5 plus 6, this will give you kind of do the math operation. But here,
Yeah, board mass.
if you will do, let's say test plus not test, this
Hmm.
this is
Give an
basically
error, right?
give you error because this is not a number. These operator will
Hmm.
run on number only.
Hmm.
So here, if you will go to the service now, basically it will kind of concatenate the strings.
Okay.
So
What was that? Concatenate? I forgot. Actually, I read before.
concatenation is basically if you need to print something by adding two strings. So if we
Okay. Okay. Okay.
in service now also you have a background script where you can.
Hmm. Hmm.
I am saying
Hmm.
like where a is equal to, I'm saying test.
Always we need to give it in test semicolon. I mean, even if I assign some numbers, one, two,
Yeah,
three,
yeah. So this
there.
is what you need to wherever your line is getting terminated, you need to put semicolon.
And this quotes also. This test, as you have put it in
Yes,
quotes.
it depends which
Oh.
kind of variable you are using. So for
Ah.
string, you
Okay.
need to put it in quotes. For integer,
Okay.
you need not to put in quotes. So if whatever you will put it in quotes, it will treat
Hmm.
it as a string.
Acha. Okay.
So I am saying test is not. So basically, I have defined two variables, right?
Hmm.
One,
Two string, right?
yeah,
Both
two
string
string. Yeah.
variable types. Yeah.
So here, one thing. Do you see where I said like whether it's a string or a variable or an integer or boolean? I didn't say this variable. I just defined where a, where b. I didn't define the type.
Right.
So it is taking, if you are putting it inside the quotes, that means you are
Hmm.
defining a string.
Yeah. Okay.
If you will not put it inside the quote, that means it will treat it as a kind of uh, integer.
Integer. Okay.
But string can't be integer. So if you will not put
Uh-huh.
it inside the integer, then it will give you an error.
Okay. Integer means numbers, right? One, two,
Numbers,
three, four,
yes.
all that. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you are defining a boolean value like true false, that should not be
Hmm.
inside the quotes.
That should
Because
be in
without
like that only.
if
Okay.
you will say
Okay.
like false, now it
Hmm.
will treat as a string. So to define the boolean, you just need remove the quotes from true false.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Now what I need to do, I need to print like this whole in one line, let's say my requirement. So I will
Hmm.
say
Hmm. Hmm.
this log thing is service now to print it. So I will say a
Hmm.
and plus b. So after every line semicolon. Now if I will run this code, what it is saying? Test is not test.
Mhm.
So
Concatenated, right? Both the
concatenation of
variable.
two strings. What we
So
did? We did the plus. Now, if I will say
mm-hmm.
one, again I defined it inside the string. So it like
That
quotes.
will also work, right? One is not test.
One is
Yeah,
not
yeah.
test.
Mm.
But what I will do, I will remove this as this
Error.
integer. Now, okay.
Oh, it's still there. Huh?
Yeah, so it's kind of treating this one as also a string and doing.
Hmm.
So if I need to do the
Mm-hmm.
addition, basically, addition can be
Okay.
numbers. Now, if I will put two numbers, then it will.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we are using the same operator. Equation is still same, a plus
Hmm.
b, but it is getting run based on what type of values you are defining here.
So a string can also have numbers, right?
Yeah, string can have a number. String can anything.
Right, right. So now if we have not given the code, so it is taking as an integer, right?
As
Here,
an integer.
these two.
And when you
Mm-hmm.
are using trying to use plus sign with two integer, compiler
Mm.
will understand you want to do the addition. But if you will take one as a string, then it will say no, I need to do the concatenation.
Okay, let's see.
If this is the variable, then it will say I need to do the concatenation. So wherever you are doing plus sign with a string, that means system will do the concatenation.
It
If
will just add it right in front of it.
yeah, we say it concatenation, you can say like add
Ha
it.
ha 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 ha. ठीक
So
है.
in technical language, we say it concatenation. And if you are like using integer itself and you are using plus sign, it will do the basically.
Calculation. Okay. So this gs.log, I am not aware. Maybe we'll cover it later,
Yeah,
right?
we will
These
cover.
functions.
This is
Yeah.
ServiceNow specific, so I am just
Correct. Correct.
the variable part introduction.
Right.
So this is kind of to print whatever you want to
Hmm,
print.
hmm, 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 hmm.
Yes.
Just one more thing, like as ServiceNow says that best practice, we should minimize the scripting and just try to stay out of the box, right? So
Yeah,
what is so where in which scenarios do we need to write the scripts like without which we cannot proceed?
see, sometimes we get the requirements like many integrations where you have to
Ah.
write the script, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are many things which you, if we talk about integration, if there is a value sent by third party system like priority, if I say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can do the transform map integration, okay,
Mm-hmm.
without any coding. If it's
Mm-hmm.
simple enough, like I need to do like integration between incident of ServiceNow and incident of let's say Jira.
Okay.
Now Jira need to create an incident in ServiceNow. Now,
Mm-hmm.
as part of ServiceNow, for the prior Jira need to set the priority as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in ServiceNow, if someone was trying to set the priority from backend, the priority if you want to set as one, then value of priority will be priority one, right? There are two
Mm-hmm.
service now. One which is getting displayed on the form, that is label
Mm-hmm.
for field.
Right.
And another thing, every field or choice has a value, backend value,
Okay.
which is used in
Okay.
scripting. So
Okay.
get the priority from backend in service now, you need to use the value as 1, 2, 3. If you need to set the priority 1, then value should go through 1. If you want to use at 2, then value should go 2, something like that. Now, Jira
Mm-hmm.
is saying I cannot send 1, 2, 3. I can just
Okay.
priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, but ServiceNow doesn't like
Mm-hmm.
understand that part.
Does not understand it, right?
Yeah, doesn't understand because
Uh-huh.
from the backend perspective, it just understand 1, 2, 3 for the priority.
Ah. Ah.
Its display value is priority 1, priority 2, priority 3.
Hmm. Hmm.
But if you are doing something from backend, system understand 1, 2, 3, 4. But Jira
Mm-hmm.
is standing as priority 1, priority 2. So basically, what you need to do, you need to intervene somewhere
Okay.
to pick whatever Jira is sending and convert it in the form of what is ServiceNow is understanding.
Okay.
So basically, you cannot directly map it. You need to write the code to get whatever is Jira is sending, like, and then you can use again if loop. Like if Jira value is priority 1, then service set the service now value as 1.
Mm-hmm.
Getting me?
Okay. Okay. So in mostly in case of integrations, we need
This
scripting,
is
right?
just one example of integration.
Ha 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 ha.
Other examples you will again get like let's say you need to do you in change you might have seen start date and date, right?
Ha ha.
So you get the validations like start date should not be greater than end date, and further other kind of basically we say validations there. It should
Where you I missed actually. Where you said this start date end date is required?
in change, right? You have seen
Acha ha ha in change. Okay.
in change you might have seen these end date, start date, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got the validation like start date should be uh, like less than end date, something like that,
Ha ha. Right.
and plus start date should not should be greater than today or
Ha.
really not less
That
than.
validation, yeah, that validation
All
happens.
those things
Right.
you cannot do without scripting.
Okay. Okay.
This might be, you might be able to achieve some part of it without scripting, but there
Hmm.
are complex scenarios requirement where you can't avoid scripting.
Okay.
So
But what does that mean when they say out of the box need, like system needs to be out, stay out of the box?
out of then
To,
they say like try as much as you can align your
ha.
process to what tool is saying, but that is
Hmm.
kind of not real time scenario. So
Hmm.
first thing, ServiceNow stays out of box, and even we should try to use out of box.
Hmm.
Many times what happens, we start writing the code. That's
Hmm.
not do. We should first analyze the system if what requirement client is saying is maybe
Hmm.
there is a already functionality. So instead maybe
Oh.
we may need to tweak our requirement a bit and then tweak system a bit, and we can like
Okay.
start using
Okay.
it instead of writing whole custom feature.
Hmm.
So we need
Okay.
to do the proper due diligence, and obviously we need to do the scripting, and we need to customize the things. One more thing, service now says like do not customize. At least refrain from customizing these out of box codes.
Ha.
So do not customize those, and you
Hmm.
barely need to like customize those.
Hmm.
Mostly you will be writing new codes, and if you are
Hmm.
writing new codes, that is kind of not an issue basically,
Okay.
because ServiceNow is not going to upgrade those, so it's not an issue. They might be like there might be some functions and all you may need to upgrade, change after upgrade, but if you are modifying or changing out of box codes, that is kind of a big thing, and ServiceNow
Okay.
highly not recommend that.
Okay. So
Because
you mean to say a business rule which is already written by
yes,
ServiceNow as an out of the box, we should
yes,
not modify it, right?
yes, because if you will modify it, ServiceNow will not upgrade. If there is, let's say, if there is any change in code comes in that business rule which was written by ServiceNow,
Hmm.
you have modified, ServiceNow will not upgrade that, and it may break your some features or something.
Okay, it will leave it as it is
You
it?
leave it. You need to
Uh,
manually analyze it and manually like modify that code with the new one or something.
okay.
So that's why try to not touch the existing codes, being business rule script, include client script, any configuration.
Okay. And what if we have some new business rule written and not out of the box, we have not touched out of the box. So in that case, during upgrade, how will that work?
So see, the features which are written by you, ServiceNow don't upgrade those.
So it will leave as it is it?
Yeah, because that was your custom feature. It is not to do anything with ServiceNow, and they
Okay.
mostly might not break in 80 to 90% cases. They where they
Mhm.
can break, maybe ServiceNow has developed that feature into what your business
Mhm.
tool is doing. Then basically there will be two code running. One is ServiceNow one, another one you written custom.
Okay.
So in
Okay.
those scenarios, you need to analyze which one you need to keep and which one you need to delete.
Okay.
So those are kind of, that's why we see the upgrade project for 2 months, 3 months,
Ha.
because
Actually, in my project, it's running. We are upgrading to Orlando.
yeah, So this is where if you got that feature now out of box, you may need to deactivate yours one, or maybe
Okay, okay.
yours one is more better or something like that. According to the business scenario, again, the things vary. So you may deactivate ServiceNow one. Another scenario where your code might break is something like some API, basically scripting API you were using in code in your code. Now ServiceNow has replaced it or changed something in that API, so your code might start breaking as part of
Hmm.
upgrade, right? So those are something things which manually handled in all upgrade projects. Now coming to coding part,
Yeah, yeah.
we can design custom app as well in ServiceNow, right?
Yes.
So you need to do the codes. So basically,
Okay, okay.
upgrade you can use without code, but when you come to advanced functionalities, features, you need to do the code. Even ServiceNow
Hmm.
has written a lot of code.
Hmm. So and during upgrade, those custom apps will not be impacted, right?
No, they will not be impacted in terms of features. In terms
Mm-hmm.
of like if there is any change, I think as I said in APIs and any other service now like platform components, like you were
Mm-hmm.
using business rules in your customer.
Mm-hmm.
Just giving an example. Now service
Hmm.
now has stopped using business rule like supporting business rule. They start using flows. They support flows and all those things, then it may break. You may need to move all your codes to flows.
Okay.
Getting my point?
Mm-hmm. What
Basically,
is that? Floors.
flow, not flows,
Acha, workflow type.
not
Hmm.
flow, flow. So this is kind of new things which is now ServiceNow is encouraging to you.
Ah, okay.
It's kind of, I'm just giving an example. They are not stop supporting
Ha
business
ha 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 ha.
business rule workflows and all will be there. So they are kind of coming with some new things, kind
Mm-hmm.
of flow which can be alternative to workflow and flow.
Okay.
Okay. So
Hmm.
that is there. These are scenarios where you might need to now move all your code to new feature or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Next thing is commenting the codes in ServiceNow or in any language for that purpose.
Yeah,
Is
the double.
double slash. Yeah.
Yeah, that is okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you need to comment any line, then you can use this. Or you may need to write some comments before writing the codes, like what this code is doing or what this line in the code is doing. So you can use double.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
So if you want to go through like this JS syntax, then
Mm-hmm.
comment, then this variable, how we define it.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen like variable. So maybe you can have
Mm-hmm.
more depth in this, like variable type
Okay.
value, like
Mm-hmm.
script and so variables you can see. Then operators.
Mm-hmm.
Here you got the operators like assignment operator, where you are assigning value to a variable.
Variable. Hmm.
So we have variable called var x. So we have variable x and we are assigning the value 10 to the variable. So this is
Hmm.
how this is what assignment operator is. Then we have addition operator. So basically to add two values,
Okay.
we have variable x and variable y, 5 and 2, and then we are adding the value z will be the addition of 2. Then we have
Hmm.
multiplication variable operator. So here they have given like addition, subtraction, multiplication, exponential, like division,
Mm-hmm.
modulus, plus, like basically that increment, basically increment
Hmm.
by 1, minus decrement by 1.
Mm-hmm.
You can go. So these are kind of basic things. In every language, you will see this arithmetic,
Yeah.
go assignment, how we assign the value. You can go
Hmm.
through it. Kind of they basically greater than equal to all those things you can see here. Then data
Okay.
type is one thing. So basically mainly you may go through this syntax, comments,
Hmm.
variable, operator, and then this data type.
Okay. What is data type? Is it variable type?
Yeah, variable type only.
Okay. Okay.
Then function, how can we define the function in ServiceNow? So let's say function is something kind of a snippet of code, you can say, or block of code, as you say.
Okay.
A script function is a block of code designed to perform a particular task. So like your
Mm-hmm.
code of 200 lines can be of multiple function.
Hmm.
So that's what how we define a function, and then name of function. So let's say what we want to define a function which will do the addition. We want to define a function which will do the multiplication.
Hmm.
So we can create a function for like function and then addition.
Mm-hmm.
Then one function for subtraction. So this is how you define. So function is the fixed syntax, and then name of function, and then a small bracket and any parameter which is your which you want to pass in your function. That is how you define the functions.
Okay.
Then JSS string. So this is you can function, and then you can see this JS string and string methods. So string method is something which we see in dot length. Getting my point?
Mm-hmm.
Dot length function, if you have a string, if you will apply string dot length, it will give you the length of a string.
Okay.
Then index of function. So this is again, so basically a string and a string function. So what all function can be run on a string. So one function, let's say in code we need to get the length of a string, so we can use the dot length function. That's why you need to know it. Index of function is something which basically gives you the index of any word in the string. So here you have the string called like please locate where locate occurs. So basically in your
Mm-hmm.
code, if you want like if this particular string has locate or not. So for those purpose, if locate is there in this string, then do some operation. If not, then do not do that operation. So for that purpose, to check the index of particular word inside a string, we use index of function.
Okay.
Like if this word will exist inside the string, like here we have a string variable, right? Where string,
Mm-hmm.
that we have defined the string. Now what we are doing, string dot index of locate. We are saying give me the index of locate word inside this string. If this locate word will exist, it will give the exact location of this bird, like index, it will give 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it exists. So if I will go here, let me just explain you. Okay. So it is saying index is 7. Basically, locate word exists at 7th position. Getting my point? 0, 1,
How?
2, 3,
Zero.
4.
Okay. Index means all the alphabets as well.
Yeah, alphabets. So
Okay.
if you will pass here L in this index of function, it will still give you the 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
One,
But there are two locates in this,
yeah,
right? In
yeah.
the sentence.
I passed string dot index of L. So if I see in the string, what is the first L index?
Ah, second. Yeah. One. It will show
1.
one.
0.
Yeah.
So it will start from 0. So at 0, P is there and L is at 1. So
Right. Right.
if I will give a letter, it will give me the index of first letter in the string.
Mm-hmm.
Like wherever first occurrence of that letter, that's what I mean to say. Now if I say here a word locate, then it will give
Mm-hmm.
me the index of first letter of locate word.
Okay.
Okay, now if I will run this, it will give me the 7. So if you will count, P is 0, L is 1, E is 2, A is 3,
3, 4, 5.
5, 6. Uh,
So is like a gap also
yeah,
taking an.
yeah, one space is there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so it is giving me the first letters index. Okay, now if I will remove a locate from here, and now if
Mm-hmm.
I will run, now next locate,
Okay. Okay.
so it is giving me
Mm.
the next locate words index.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will remove this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now it will give me -1. So when
-1. How?
Yeah, so that is what the feature of this function. Now, when you try to find a word which doesn't exist in the string, it will always
Mm-hmm.
return you -1.
Okay.
So where you may use this function, one is to get the index if you require in your code. Another is,
Mm-hmm.
let's say you receive a string somewhere, let's say from a string, from an integration. Okay, from
Mm-hmm.
third party tool is sending you like kind of some string, and your code is checking like if that string contains Jira, then only create the ticket. If does not, then do not create the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Getting my point? Might not be a real time scenario. I'm just giving you an example. So Jira is sending you a string always to create the issue or incident in service. Now, as per prerequisite, it was or discussed with business. Every time Jira will be sending Jira word in the string. And if
Mm-hmm.
Jira word exists in the string, then only create the issue. Otherwise, do not create the issue. So now,
Okay.
check this condition whether Jira exists in that string or not. What you can use? You can use get that string, what was sent by Jira, and use the function and pass Jira inside that. Now, if Jira is there,
Mm-hmm.
what it will do? It will return you some index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any index.
Mm-hmm.
If Jira is not there, what it will return you?
-1.
-1. So what now? What is the value of POS? POS is
-1.
-1. Now what I can do? I can put the condition in my code anywhere like if POS is not equal to -1, then only go inside the loop and I will write here the code to create the incident. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
equal to not equal to -1, then only logic for incident. Getting my point?
Mm-hmm.
So here I got if it will be a -1, basically Jira will not exist in the string. So if Jira is not existing in the string, I need not to create it. So where I have what I have given, go inside the loop if POS not equal to -1. And when
Mm-hmm.
POS won't be -1, when Jira will be there in this string. Getting my point?
Yeah, I am.
So that is where you may use this function. That's why you need to know the feature of index of function.
So
Dot
this is like quite useful in ServiceNow also.
yeah, service now also. So that's what I said. You will be using these kind of things from JavaScript, like dot length,
Okay.
dot index of okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get dot length, dot index of other function,
Mm-hmm.
last index of search. You might not be using that much. So dot length and string just go through slice to basically slice the string. Getting my point? So you want to slice the
Oh.
string from this point to this point. So you can use like you want to get the what word is there from the index 7 to 13.
Mhm.
So it will 7 means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 is B and 13 will be A. So it will basically return the word from the string which will be between 7 and 13 index. So that's why if you see the result is coming banana.
So what does slice function do?
Slice
I mean,
function is basically
method.
yeah,
Mm.
slice method basically gives you a kind of substring, or you can say it gives you a slice of a string. Getting my point? Based on the index you define here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see here we got like apple, banana, kiwi, and we are doing string dot slice 7 to 13, and it is printing banana. So basically, it is saying this function. What we are saying, give me a word which start from index 7 and ends at index 13.
Okay, okay.
So basically, to get a part of string.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Okay. Then service string is again kind of slice, you can say, but not somewhere you may use slice, somewhere you may use substring. So here also you can see substring is similar to slice.
Okay, okay.
The difference is that substring cannot accept negative indexes. So this -1, -2 substring will not accept, but slice will accept.
Mm-hmm.
So
But in business rules also, do we need these kind of methods?
yeah, we see these are string operator, and ServiceNow also we will have the strings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like short description on the incident form.
Mm-hmm.
String only, right? We define my laptop is not working.
Mm-hmm.
So if I need to write some logic based on that, like if my string like short description contains laptop, then do this. I mean, basically assign the category automatically as laptop or hardware, something like that.
Okay, okay, okay.
So for that purpose, I need to use index of laptop, like
Okay.
index of laptop. Maybe I need
Mm-hmm.
uh, I need to do slicing or service string. So all those things we need to get.
Mm-hmm.
So these are basically string operators. So wherever we have a string and each tool have a string, we may use this. So you may not be using that frequently, but yes, you may get to use.
Okay, okay, okay. Because in client scripts and business rules, whatever I have seen, I did not find it. Maybe it was basic coding, what I have got.
Yeah, if you will go to the business rule and you will put a script contains dot
Mm-hmm.
length, you will get a lot of business rules there.
Okay, okay.
Then uppercase, if you have a string like this and you want to convert it in uppercase or something like that, you can use dot up to uppercase to lowercase.
Mm-hmm.
So where you can use this recently, I have seen a requirement like CMDB. You understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
CMDB. In
Yeah.
CMDB, we give the name to servers or anything. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
the requirement could be like when a user create a new server, then whatever name he gives, the name
Mm-hmm.
of server always automatically should get converted to the uppercase.
Mm.
Getting my point? So
Yeah.
it's business requirement. Business always want the server name to be uppercase, but he cannot restrict the user to always type in uppercase.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever is creating that server record in ServiceNow.
Okay.
So what we say, we will write a business rule, and in that business rule, what we will do, we will, as soon as user submits, the business rule will run. It will pick the name whatever defined by user, and we will convert that string to uppercase and again assign the same string.
Okay. Uppercase means the starting word will be uppercase, right?
So full to uppercase means full
Full.
string will get converted to uppercase.
Okay. Okay.
And lowercase full string will get converted to the lowercase.
Mm-hmm.
So these kind of
Okay.
requirement we may get. Then we came to concat. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, I need to concat the string 2 words. I need to concat. Then I use concat, and the symbol for the either I can do like this concat function or direct is use plus.
Okay.
Okay, so I can do it using plus as well, and I can do it using concat function. So I am doing
Mm-hmm.
text dot concat with text2. So I am saying
Okay.
concat the text1 to the text2. So either I can use the concat function or I can use the uh, this plus symbol. Then trim.
Yeah.
From
Mm-hmm.
Jira, I got a string. Basically, while creating the incident, I got the short description of incident. Now that short description has basically spaces at the start and at the end, which is sent by Jira. Now I want these spaces should be removed before I am putting that in ServiceNow short description field. Then
Okay.
I can use the trim method to trim the void spaces and then assign it.
Mm.
So basically, you can go through these. Even what I told you, only those if you will go that will.
Yeah. I mean, whatever is really important, because I just want to start with the basic things first. So
Yes, these are basic thing. If you will understand these, like mostly dot length, maybe you can write it down. Dot
yeah,
length,
1 second. Dot length.
index
Okay.
of,
Okay.
then two uppercase, two lowercase,
2 uppercase, 2 lowercase.
then concatenate,
Okay.
uh, trim, substr.
Trim and substring.
Substr will be there if you will go through that.
Okay. Okay.
So these are, at least go through these functions. Then we
These
come,
are string methods, right?
yeah, string methods.
Okay.
Then there are certain methods which you can apply on like these integers as well, or numbers as well, basically. So how you can define the number, that is where it is. Then number methods are like, you can convert the number to the string. How to convert
Okay.
number to the into a string? You can use dot to string. So this function you can learn dot to string, and then number method you can see %, basically to convert it something into the string, sorry, integer. Like if you have 10.33, if you want to convert it in integer, then it will return you 10. So
Mm-hmm.
parse method you can read, parse float you can read. Yeah, maybe read these only for the number for that being.
Okay. So these string methods and these JS numbers, they will, I mean, they will be useful in case of client scripting and in business rule both, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Business rule, client script, yeah, most of the time. There might be certain limitations. We'll see that.
But business rule is mostly used, right? More than client script.
Yeah, even we use client script as well, but it depends on the requirement. So yeah, you can say in terms of number, yeah, you might be writing more business rule, because we always prefer to write codes on server instead of client.
Yeah, you also need to tell me, like, whenever we get a requirement, so how will we make sure that which script to be written for that? I mean,
Yeah,
business rule.
I will try to explain again that thing. Yeah, you will get once the requirement is there.
Or maybe without even scripting, if we can achieve those things, right?
Yeah, so these things I think you can go for the time being or to start with, and
Okay.
maybe
Mm-hmm.
then
So I will go through this string method and this JS number methods, right? And other basic stuff of JavaScripting.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Fine.